Legends of Origin, Book 1, Sanctuary for the Devil, Chapter 2. That evening, Liam sat on a cushion on his room's balcony, meditating. It helped to keep his mind off everything, particularly the hollow ache of loss. A knock on the door disturbed him, and he almost ignored it, but changed his mind when he heard footsteps leaving. "Who is it?" he called. The footsteps returned, and Arthian replied through the door. "It is I, Arthian." "Come in." The monk entered, clad, as always, in his brown monk's robes. Amazing how similar religions, beliefs, and attire are, even across the galaxy, Liam mused. "May I?" Arthian gestured to the pillow next to Liam's. Liam nodded. The monk sat. "It's a lovely night, is it not?" "Did you come here to talk about the weather?" Liam snapped, annoyed by being disturbed only minutes into his meditation. A slight frown and an indiscernible emotion played across Arthian's face, but it faded quickly, and he replied, "No, although it has been strange of late." Liam sat up straight, turning to the monk. "How so?" Arthian looked surprised by his interest. "The hail, for one. We hardly ever get hail here, and when we do, the hailstones aren't even half the size of the other night stones. Certainly not big enough to do any damage. The hailstorm this time damaged parts of the monastery. Abbot Jurger thinks it was the devil's work. He says he can actually feel his presence lately. Last week, just before the other stranger arrived to claim sanctuary, a gigantic wave crashed onto the beach, sweeping two of our brothers away. We can only presume that they no longer live, as they have not returned, and our searches did not find them washed up on the shore." Liam frowned. Was it the devil's work, or just normal planetary changes? To him, it stank of Lucifer, which meant that, even if he had killed Saw, he would have stopped nothing. "What else?" he demanded. Arthian's eyes grew dark. "Lightning that seems to strike something dead each time, without fail, be it tree, bear, deer, rabbit, or man. And what?" Arthian took a deep breath. "Snow. I know, it's hard to believe, impossible, but it's true. 3 times in the last week alone. And on the nights it snows, by morning, it's already so hot that the snow melts sometimes even before we wake up. You'd only know it snowed if you got up during the night or were up late praying." Liam blinked. Snow at the ocean. It defied the laws of nature as he knew it on this planet. He was right. It had to be Lucifer's work. And now only one thing could stop it. He had to kill the human who Lucifer used to wreak his havoc. He jumped up, wincing as his still healing feet took his weight. "Damn it! Why?" He raised a fist at the sky. "Why? Answer me, damn you! Why did you let this happen? How could you?" His voice broke and he dropped to one knee, his head bowed. Arthian asked softly, his voice quavering, "It is of the devil, isn't it?" Liam held his head, despair washing through him. He whispered, "Yes. Oh, yes." Arthian cleared his throat. "I've been thinking. The stranger who arrived to claim sanctuary before you. You and he have something in common." Liam looked up at the monk in surprise. "We do?" Arthian nodded. "You both survived strange obstacles. He, the great wave, and you, the sharp crystals." Liam's eyes widened. "Did anyone die the day I arrived?" "No." "How did he survive the wave?" "We do not know. He was near our brothers who were washed away. I saw it from the balcony. The wave covered them all, and when it retreated into the ocean, he stood alone on the beach." "And you didn't think that was odd?" Liam asked sarcastically. Well, no, there's nothing odd about a miracle. Liam snorted. So two of your brothers dying is a miracle? It was their time. They were called home. Liam glared at the monk. Do you think the devil can't perform miracles? Arthian blinked. Tiny beads of sweat began to form on his forehead. Why would the devil do that? Miracles help people, make lives better, and how do your brother's deaths make anyone's life better? Liam interrupted. It is their lives made better. They are with. Do you know what the definition of a miracle is where I come from? Liam interrupted again, harsher this time. The monk was clearly unhappy with the turn the conversation had taken. Liam said, We call it a perceptible interruption in the laws of nature. Do you know what that means? What it really means? Arthian's forehead now glistened with sweat droplets. It's something that happens in the physical world, meaning we can see it, something that surpasses all human knowledge of the world we live in, and that isn't a regular occurrence. Do you know what that means? Arthian scowled. I'm sure you're going to tell me. Liam scowled back. It means that, if we don't understand it, we call it a miracle and claim it's from God. Or, if we aren't religious, we call it supernatural, or evil, or magic, or give aliens credit for it. It's because humans are inherently stupid and arrogant. Too stupid and arrogant to understand that we can't box something up into a category just because it suits us. Arthian sat alone in his room later that night, listening to the howling wind and pelting hailstones. He contemplated the conversation he'd had with Liam. The strange man was obviously troubled deeply. Arthian didn't understand, and, he suspected, still wouldn't understand even if it was explained to him. Liam was certainly like no other Arthian had ever come across, or even heard of. Flashes of guilt, loss, regret, hopelessness, bitterness, and anger flashed across Liam's face from time to time, usually when he thought he wasn't being watched, and Arthian wondered what thoughts plagued him in those moments. What was it in his past that haunted him so? It seemed to Arthian as if it was more than he had already shared with them. Much more. Certainly, he had issues with God and the world at large. That much was clear. That must be the reason he'd been spared death and allowed to reach the monastery, where he could, perhaps, find peace and truth. It bothered Arthian that he had been unable to answer Liam's questions near the end of their conversation. The man had said some startling things that sounded right to Arthian, although some of them went against everything he believed in since he'd become a monk. Maybe Liam had been sent to test Arthian's faith, to teach him why his faith was right. That must be it. He decided that, come morning, he would prize every last piece of information from Liam that he could. He spent the next hour praying for the right words to open the stranger's heart to him, so he could learn the lesson he was supposed to learn from Liam. So he could, if he was successful, also show Liam that his view of God was distorted. After all, who needed to know how the universe worked, as long as it did? Liam woke up with a headache the next morning. The wind still whistled its eerie tune outside, but he no longer heard the pelting hailstones. He wondered how much damage it had done to the monastery overnight. He lay in bed until well past breakfast time, and wasn't surprised when someone knocked at his door about 2 hours after breakfast. The monks had no respect for his need for privacy and some alone time. It was as if they thought sleeping late was a sin, and talking would somehow magically fix everything wrong in his life. Arthian was the worst, and Liam guessed it was him at the door. The knock came again. Yeah, come in already, he growled. The door opened and Arthian entered with a tray of fruit. At least they had the manners to knock and wait for an answer, Liam thought. That was something. I brought you breakfast. Arthian set the tray on the bedside table. Why? Liam asked hoarsely, his head still throbbing. Arthian hesitated. You missed breakfast. That's because I'm not hungry. You must eat if you are to regain your strength. You've hardly eaten anything since you arrived. I'm not hungry, Liam snapped. May I sit? Liam replied sarcastically. Why? Want to make sure I eat, Dad? Arthian blinked. I'm not your... Liam rubbed his temples. Ugh, I know that. It's called sarcasm. Don't tell me you've never heard of it. Not really. I mean, I understand the concept, but, well, we have no need for sarcasm here. And you've never left the monastery? Not ever? The monk shook his head. Not much since I first arrived as a young teenager. I've explored some of the land's more remote areas surrounding Tridor, but nobody lives in those places. There's been no need to travel further, except for the odd pilgrimage. My place is here, and it's where I'm happiest. Liam scoffed. Then you've had a sheltered life and know nothing about anything useful. Arthian appeared taken aback. I wouldn't say that. Irritated, Liam changed the subject to something he had contemplated for many months. Where I come from, some people think we were genetically engineered, created by aliens. Aliens? Beings from another planet. Does anyone in this land think that too? Arthian looked shocked. No. How did they come to that conclusion? There's substantial proof where I'm from that we were visited by aliens, beings from other planets, in our past. Arthian seemed thoughtful. That, I can say for sure, is true. There are many types of beings in creation. Still, I don't understand why that would lead anyone to think we were created by other beings. Well, scientists in my land have successfully swapped the head of one monkey with another and added a second head to a dog. Each of these genetically engineered animals lived for a few days. They even cloned a sheep a few years ago, and probably much more that they don't tell the rest of the world about for fear of moral outrage or terror. Arthian looked sick. Not so successful if you're the poor animal. Liam felt as ill as the monk looked. The morals of those scientists were dubious, to put it mildly. Agreed. So, you think because your scientists can warp creation in such a way, other beings must have done so too? Not necessarily, but it's certainly possible, don't you think? Arthian frowned. Perhaps. Surely that's not the only reason people believe it, though. On a mere possibility? Liam shook his head. No, but where I come from, we have many myths about creatures that our general population don't believe ever existed. However, a large portion believes that these creatures did, in fact, once walk the face of the earth. For example, there are countless legends, such as Medusa, who is said to be a human woman with snakes growing from her head instead of hair. Also, the Gorgons, who are mythical sisters who are also said to have had snakes for hair. Plus, they had wings and claws, and could supposedly turn someone to stone with a mere look. Then there are winged horses and unicorns, which are horses with a horn growing from their heads, centaurs, which have the body of a horse and the torso of a man, Cerberus, the three-headed giant hound that's said to guard the gates of hell, and countless other creatures of myth that are depicted with various mixed animal parts. Liam paused for breath. Oh, and there's the Christian Bible story of creation, where a rib was taken from Adam to create Eve. He looked at Arthian intensely, gauging his reaction. Wouldn't you say that's reason to believe that we, too, could be engineered using parts that don't belong to our original form? Or that our entire being was created from scratch by some other race? Arthian frowned. I see how these myths could provide reasoning behind your conclusions, but I don't see how they led you to the conclusion in the first place. Liam said, Where I come from, we've traced our origins from the oldest human skeletons we've discovered. However, there's a missing link. Many believe we just evolved over time, but it isn't mathematically possible for that to have happened, given the time frames in question. Are you saying no one where you come from believes in God? Or the story of creation? The monk looked mortified. Liam shook his head and massaged his aching temples. Not at all. Many believe in God, but our population believes in various gods, and the exact beliefs for each religion differ a bit. The problem is that we have no direct contact with any great creator or God, so there's no solid proof for any theory or belief, and many view God as just another theory or myth of creation. A few moments of silence passed, then Arthian seemed to brighten. The ways of God are more mysterious than I ever imagined. Even if humans were created by another species, it doesn't mean there is no God. Who, then, created the species that created humans? Thoughtful, Liam replied. That's a good question. His headache had intensified by now. Do you think, then, that the ultimate creator of all is pissed about his creations playing God and creating other species or manipulating our makeup? Arthian frowned. I imagine he would be, yes. Liam stretched his neck forward so that his chin touched his chest. This conversation is making my headache worse. You have a headache? Here, let me. Arthian reached towards Liam, then stopped when Liam cringed. Do not worry. I only wish to take your headache away. Liam was suspicious. How do you plan to do that? You're not a healer. Are you? Arthian laughed. We all have the capacity to be healers of some sort, on occasion. I know a little of something. Pressure points in this case. I've seen what fiddling with pressure points can do. It can drop a man instantly, even kill him. Arthian looked serious. Do you really think I would kill you? Me? A servant of God? Liam had to admit the monk had a point. It was taking his paranoia a tad too far. Then again, you never knew. Shortly after the last time he'd admitted to himself that he was too paranoid, Saw had proved that he wasn't paranoid enough. Liam whispered, The devil comes in many disguises. Arthian frowned. Does it feel like I'm the devil in disguise? Reluctantly, Liam shook his head, immediately regretting it as a wave of nausea swept through him. Arthian smiled gently. Okay, just close your eyes and take a deep breath. Liam did as he was told. The monk moved behind him, then placed his thumbs at the base of Liam's skull, lightly pressing to the side of the eyes with his fingers. He applied a gentle, steady pressure in small circular motions, and Liam felt almost instant relief, The headache was still there, but not so bad that it made him want to throw up anymore. After what Liam guessed to be 5 to 10 minutes, Arthian stopped. Better? The monk stated, grinning. Liam tried not to scowl. He hated smugness. How did you learn that? Arthian's smile widened. It's something Sirthon showed me. How does he know? Arthian shrugged. The healer's knowledge has been passed down from one generation to the next since before we remember. The history books say it was God himself who gave us the knowledge. Liam considered this. Perhaps at some point these people had been more knowledgeable, but surely no race would be able to reject the other advancements that came with knowledge. He looked up at Arthian and met his eyes. So you know how to manipulate pressure points, but do you understand how it works? Through the power of God, of course. Liam fought the urge to roll his eyes. Which means you don't know. Arthian hesitated, then smiled again. Why do I need to know? It works without me knowing its intricate workings. Which means you don't care about anything outside your bubble world, Liam snapped. Then, seeing the hurt look in the monk's eyes, he mumbled, Anyway, thanks for almost getting rid of my headache. You're welcome. Arthian paused, then indicated the tray. Has your appetite not returned now that your headache is gone? Not really. Perhaps if you speak what's on your mind, whatever pain you hold close will be released. Then you'd regain your appetite. I don't mean to pry, but at times you seem like a man in mourning. Who is it that you mourn? What happened to you? Where do you come from? Once Arthian started, the questions came tumbling out one after the other, until he appeared to run out of breath. He took a deep breath and opened his mouth to speak again. Liam held up a hand, murmuring, Stop! Before you bring back my headache. Arthian looked at him in silence. Tell me something, Liam said. Is it common practice to interrogate everyone who claims sanctuary here? It sounded harsher than he'd meant it, and, in fact, after the second day, nobody other than Arthian had asked him anything more than, Would you like a mug of tea? How are your wounds healing? Or, Did you sleep well last night? As if reading his mind, Arthian asked mildly, Don't you think interrogate is too harsh a word? Liam felt guilty. Maybe. Arthian smiled. Why do you want to know so much about me? To be of use to you, I must first understand you. To understand you, I must first know you. Liam blinked. Be of use to me? Why is that your duty? Why do you care about being of use to me? You don't even know me. Exactly what I said. So, does that mean you're going to answer my questions? Not before you answer mine. Liam frowned. Why do you give a shit about being of use to a stranger? One who tried to murder your beloved ruler, no less. Arthian appeared to think the question stupid. It's in a monk's nature, of course. A monk's sole purpose for existing is to be of use to others, to help them on their journey to find the Creator, whatever that help may be, in whatever way I'm able. Nature? You mean you're taught that from birth, don't you? Arthian frowned. You really are from terribly far away, aren't you? So I keep saying. Firstly, all monks are sworn to celibacy. Any who break that vow are banished. Those here have all come from different places, called by God to a life of service. Only those whose nature it is to help others are called. So no, we're not taught from birth. It's who we are. I admit that some bring young children with them, but those are free to follow their own path when they come of age. be it to remain with us and serve God, or to leave us and serve themselves. I think my headache's coming back. It can't be. Have I found the place? Have I really? Arthian cleared his throat. Is something wrong? Please do not tell me the land you come from is so depraved that you do not believe there are those who are simply not happy or fulfilled if they are not helping others. Liam almost said yes, but when he looked into the monk's eyes, such compassion shone from them that he closed his mouth and sighed instead. He believed him. He couldn't help it. He was trying not to. To trust was to be weak. He did the only thing he could. He lashed out. Maybe there's something wrong with you, wanting to be a slave to anyone who comes along. Arthian's voice was amazingly calm. Perhaps, but what does it matter? I'm happy and fulfilled, and I hurt no one. The monk's lack of anger made Liam remorseful, and he finally asked, Do you know what the word planet means? Arthian nodded. Liam breathed a sigh of relief. He wasn't quite sure if he would have done a good job explaining that one. I'm from another planet. Arthian gaped. The words spilled from Liam against his will. It's not too far away, actually, just out of satellite range. In other words, just a little too far for our technology to see. He paused. Well, I suppose it is very far, actually. Anyway, Arthian jumped up and moved to stand at the balcony door. He gazed out over the harbor and suspiciously asked, You're not playing a joke on me, are you? Or trying to get information out of me? The corner of Liam's lip twitched, but he refused to smile. He had heavy burdens to share. Information? Exactly what information would I be trying to get out of you? Arthian shrugged. Look into my eyes, and if you still think I'm trying to trick you, I'm not saying another word, and you must promise never to ask me anything again. Ever. Arthian's shoulders tensed. After a moment's hesitation, he turned to stare at Liam. Then his curiosity appeared to get the better of him, as Liam had hoped it would, and he walked towards Liam and stopped, searching his eyes for lies, it seemed. Moments later, he appeared satisfied. He relaxed and smiled. Please, go on. You believe me? Yes. Liam was still hesitant to bare his soul. Arthian sat. Friend, you have my vow of secrecy regarding anything you say to me from this moment on, and you know I will not judge you. Everyone judges everyone. If I was going to judge you, do you not think I would have already done so when you admitted to the attempted murder of someone I hold in high regard? I must have found the place. It must be on this planet. Liam was faint with excitement at the thought. And Lucifer fouls it with his presence. He scowled. Arthian said, You've got that look again. What are you thinking about? Not yet. Better to be sure first. Liam cleared his throat. You asked who I mourn. He took a shuddering breath. Zack. His name is Zack. He was my friend, my brother, in the sense that you monks call each other brothers. He's dead. Because of me. He's the one I mourn the most, though there are others. Many others. You could say that his loyalty to me is what killed him. You could say that's what killed everyone who was loyal to me. They're all dead now. Zack was the most loyal. Liam's voice turned bitter. Guess the universe thought it'd save the best for last, huh? Arthian patted Liam's arm. How did it happen? Liam shuddered and his eyes misted with unshed tears. The day I met Saw, Zack tried to protect me. Saw's guards didn't know what hit them. It was the last thing they expected from a scruffy thing like him. He half smiled. There were just too many of them. He was shot before the life left the eyes of the first man he'd attacked. It was my fault, he lamented. If I'd just kept him close, he wouldn't have attacked and he wouldn't be dead. He grew angry. My fucking arrogance killed him. I was stupid enough to think I could take on 7 men armed with technological weapons. It wasn't your fault. If you had known, Liam snapped. I would have known if my head hadn't been up my arse. His shoulders drooped and he whispered. I tried to stop him, but it was too late. Arthian placed a hand on Liam's arm, and he shook it off angrily. The past is gone, and your brother lives on. In my memories? What good is a fucking memory? Arthian shook his head. No, I mean in reality. He's just somewhere else now. Somewhere you cannot perceive with your mortal body. What good is that to me? Are you not happier knowing he's okay? Liam had to admit the thought brought some semblance of relief, but it seemed a bit much to believe. There were those who believed that friends of Zack's kind would simply cease to exist after physical death. What if they were right? Perhaps sensing that the topic was too raw to discuss further, Arthian interrupted Liam's thoughts. Will you tell me now what happened to you? Why you came to our planet and how you came to know what you say about Saw? Liam wondered if the monk were merely humoring him. He seemed to believe fully, though. Unsure if he was ready to answer the question, Liam was saved by shouts from down the passage. He's awake! Quick! Call Sir Thon!